Look, if you're watching this, I'm guessing you're not interested in being, well, average. But let's be real for a second, right? Our natural urge, the easy path, is always to just settle. And what we're seeing today, it's like this hidden pandemic. Not a virus, but something mental. It's the disease of mediocrity. So let's dive into the battle against it. This idea, inspired by Socrates, it just cuts right to the heart of it all, doesn't it? It's talking about a real tragedy, going through your entire life and never even seeing what you were truly capable of, never witnessing the full power that you hold inside you. What a shame that would be. So, this is the first really tough question we've got to ask ourselves. Are you just passing through life? Are we just getting by, kind of living on autopilot, accepting a life that's just good enough? It's a super personal question, and yeah, the answer might make you a little uncomfortable, but this is exactly where the journey has to begin. And, this isn't just about being individually lazy. It's way bigger than that. It's like a cultural sickness. We've made comfort our god. We're told, hey, steady just enough to pass. Find a job that's just comfortable enough. This whole just get by attitude, that's the real disease of our time. Now, here's where it gets really interesting, because we're actually fighting our own biology here. It's called the frog brain bias. Think about it. Your primitive brain, that limbic system, it's not designed for greatness or for breaking records. It is hardwired for one thing, survival, to keep you safe and comfortable. So when you want to wake up at 4 a.m. to work out, that little voice whispers, nah, stay in bed. It's warm. You're not just lazy. You're literally a slave to your own biology. And this slide just lays it out perfectly. It shows the internal war that every single one of us is fighting every single day. On one side, you've got the frog brain, always pulling you back towards safety, towards the path of least resistance. And on the other side, the potential for a warrior mind, one that actually seeks growth through the struggle, one that finds itself in the heart of the challenge. And mediocrity, that's just the name we give to letting that frog brain win every single time. But listen, this isn't just some feel-good philosophy or, abstract ideas. This battle, it's grounded in hard neuroscience. Your struggle, or your lack of it, is physically, tangibly changing the structure of your brain. Okay, so neuroscientists at places like Stanford, guys like Dr. Andrew Huberman, they've actually pinpointed this specific region in the brain. It's called the Anterior Mid-Cingulate Cortex. Now, you don't have to remember the name. Just think of it as your willpower muscle. It's the physical source of your grit, your determination. It's a real, measurable part of you. And here's the crazy part. The science shows that in people who are constantly pushing their limits, we're talking elite athletes, soldiers, top-tier achievers, this part of the brain is physically larger. It's more robust, it's denser, it's well-developed. It's like they've been hitting the mental gym. And, well, the flip side is just as true. And it's kind of scary. For people who live those sedentary, complacent lives, who actively avoid discomfort, that same exact region is smaller. It's literally underdeveloped. So think about that. If you're not facing struggle, your brain is physically shrinking in the very area that's supposed to help you overcome challenges. So the big takeaway here is this. Willpower is a muscle, and just like any other muscle, it only grows one way, when you voluntarily do something you don't want to do, when you drag yourself to the gym when you're tired, or you take that freezing cold shower, or you force yourself to read a tough book. That brain region physically expands. You are literally biologically building grit. Okay, so to really see what this looks like when someone takes building this willpower muscle to the absolute human extreme, we have to look at the story of one man, David Goggins. His journey is basically a living, breathing case study of a massively overdeveloped anterior mid-cingulate cortex in action. So Goggins makes this absolutely wild decision. With pretty much zero dedicated training for this kind of thing, no support crew, nothing, he enters one of the toughest ultramarathons on the planet, a 160-kilometer race. The goal? Finish in under 24 hours. On paper, it's just an impossible feat. And unbelievably fueled by that sheer willpower from his Navy SEAL background, he just ran. And somehow, within 12 hours, he'd already covered 112 kilometers. But it was right at that point that his body completely, and I mean completely, shut down. And this is where the real race, the real battle, began. He collapses into a chair, and the reality of the situation becomes terrifyingly clear. His white socks, they're soaked red with blood from his feet, which are just destroyed.
He goes to the bathroom and he's not urinating, he's passing blood. His kidneys were failing. He said it felt like the bones in his shins were about to snap. And for 4 long hours, he just sat there, shivering, crying, just completely broken. Every piece of logic, every internal voice was screaming at him, "Stop, you're gonna die." All the motivational quotes, all that positive thinking stuff, it just vanished. Because all of that is totally useless when you're truly in hell.
And then something shifted. In that silent darkness, a new voice clawed its way out from deep inside him. It wasn't logical, it wasn't motivational. It was this raw, animalistic statement of identity. He realized he was doing this for one reason and one reason only. Because I'm one hard motherfucker. And that single thought, it changed everything. See, this wasn't about motivation anymore. This was a fundamental identity shift. The pain was still there, his body was still absolutely broken, but the person who was enduring it had changed. He taped up his feet, he stood up, and he just started moving again. Kilometer by kilometer, he finished that race. And in doing so, he stumbled upon a profound truth about human limits. And that entire discovery, that profound truth, it can be boiled down to this one single, powerful number, 40%. This is what he calls the 40% rule. What Goggins realized sitting in that chair is that when your mind is screaming that you are done, that you have absolutely nothing left in the tank, you've actually only used about 40% of your true capacity. Your frog brain, your survival brain, quits long, long before your body actually does. Just look at this. This chart basically represents your potential. That tiny little slice, that's the 40% where your brain tells you to stop. But that massive 60%, that is your untapped reserve. That's the real you just waiting to be discovered on the other side of all that suffering. And this is exactly why Goggins always says that motivation is garbage. It's just temporary fuel. It burns out, just like it did for him in that chair. You can't rely on it. You have to rebuild the entire engine. You have to forge a completely new identity. So how do you even start? Okay, first, the accountability mirror. You have to stop lying to yourself. Goggins literally stood in front of a mirror and called himself out on every single excuse. You have to do the same. Second, you practice the 40% push. When your mind screams quit, you just go for 5 more minutes or you read 1 more page. That small push, that's the zone where you actually grow. And third, and this is a big one, kill the victim. Your past, your problems, they belong to you and you alone. And guess what? So do the solutions. No more excuses. And if you need one final warning about the real danger of a life without struggle, look no further than the chilling Universe 25 experiment. Scientists created this perfect little paradise for mice. Unlimited food, no predators, perfect conditions. And what was the result? They became apathetic, they became violent, and eventually the entire population just died out. They were killed by perfect comfort. Science itself proves that without a struggle, minds and entire societies decay. So we're going to end with this. One day your time will be up. And on that day, imagine 2 people standing before you, the person you actually became and the person you could have been. Now, if there's a huge difference between those two, well, that's the definition of hell. But if they look the same, that's heaven. The choice right now is yours.